The Duke of Sussex is looking back at a decade of the adaptive sports tournament he founded for service personnel and veterans. On May 7, the Duke of Sussex, 39, joined a panel during his trip to the UK for the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. The discussion, the IGF conversation, realizing a global community, is set to reflect on the global community of service personnel and their families that the Invictus Games has fostered since its inception a decade ago through the power of adaptive sport, from Prince Harry's initial inspiration at the Warrior Games to Invictus' impact in the years since. Prince Harry, a former captain in the British Army who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, launched the adaptive sports tournament for service personnel and veterans in 2014. The inaugural Invictus Games were held in London this September, and he traveled to the UK from his California home to celebrate the milestone anniversary. Reflecting on the past decade of the Invictus Games, the Duke of Sussex was asked if there was a magic moment from the event that made him smile. "It probably hasn't changed, still, it has to be in the beginning, 2014, in the copper box," he replied. "I was at the DJ decks, trying to choose some of the music and put the lights on, and just get people on their feet." Prince Harry shouted out Guy Monson, who never left his seat at the event. "But it was that final game of USA versus UK, and it was just end-to-end. I think it was wheelchair rugby and wheelchair basketball. And that, to me, was the highlight because you had 6,000 people who had filled this stadium and were on their feet, every age from 95 to 5, and people were just literally blown away by what they were watching. We had no idea what was going to happen." Harry added, "I think we've just had a huge amount of fun. I think that I personally have learned so much from the people that I have met. The children, the family, the friends, the individuals themselves, and the amount of respect and admiration I have for all of them just continues to build just year after year after year. And now we have these Invictus 1 year to go events as well because, to be honest with you, we can't wait 2 years. So whoever is going to host the next games, we're all going to be there 1 year ahead. And then at the games themselves," he continued. "So the highlight for me is being in this community with all these people." Looking ahead, Prince Harry had a surprising answer about the future of the Invictus Games. "Look, I've said this over and over again over the years. Every time I've been asked a similar question, which is, how long does Invictus go on for? And the answer to that is, for as long as it's serving a purpose. I would love more than anything, and there will be people in this room who go, 'What is he saying?' But I would love more than anything to put this in a box, put it on a shelf, and to let that box be covered in dust because we don't need it in anymore," he said. "But as we in this room probably understand more so than most, that's just simply not the case. I'm a big fan of trying to solve the root cause of a problem, and the root cause of the problem is conflict. I can't fix that," he continued. "So we will always be here to be able to spread the message, tell the stories, change the perspectives, and to help as many people as humanly possible, because Invictus transcends borders, it transcends politics. It is what it is. There is this magic within this community that exists." Prince Harry hopes new countries will join the event, and if funding allows, more competitors in each Invictus Games. "We cap our competitors at 550 strong," he said. "If there are people in this room who really want to come in, with a big number of funding, then we can probably increase that, but then it means the games go beyond a week and everything else starts becoming much longer and bigger." Beyond the panel discussion, Harry's itinerary includes a service at St. Paul's Cathedral on May 8. The Duke of Sussex is set to deliver a reading at the cathedral in the heart of London, and Homeland star Damian Lewis will recite the poem Invictus. The prose by William Ernest Henley is full of meaning for the Invictus Games community, and the competition's motto, "I am," comes from its final line, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." Henley is coincidentally commemorated with a memorial bust in the crypt of St. Paul's, which is where the future King Charles and Princess Diana married in 1981. The program is expected to bring together representatives from the Invictus Games participating nations, including members of the wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veteran community. Invictus community members, supporters, and beneficiaries will also give readings and participate in the service, which will be led by the Very Reverend Andrew Tremlett, Dean of Spals. News of Prince Harry's Invictus-focused trip was announced on April 28 and brings him back to the UK for the first time in a few months. The Duke of Sussex flew to London in February for a private visit with his father, King Charles, after Buckingham Palace announced the sovereign's cancer diagnosis on February 5. Several days later, he stepped out in Canada with his wife, Meghan Markle. Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025's one-year-to-go celebrations, which counted down to the 7th cycle of the Games in Canada next year. Prince Harry will not meet with King Charles during his trip to the UK for the Invictus Games anniversary, PDOPLE confirms. A spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex says, in response to the many inquiries and continued speculation on whether or not the Duke will meet with his father while in the UK this week, it unfortunately will not be possible due to His Majesty's full program. The Duke, of course, is understanding of his father's diary of commitments and various other priorities and hopes to see him soon. Prince Harry made his latest visit to the UK solo, but he is due to reunite with Meghan, 42, for another significant trip this week. On the heels of the announcement of the Invictus anniversary plans, PDOPLE confirmed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are heading to Nigeria. The couple accepted an invitation on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, the country's highest-ranking military official. During their visit, Prince Harry and Meghan will meet with service members and participate in a variety of cultural activities. The agenda will highlight the Invictus Games following Nigeria's event debut at the latest Invictus Games in Düsseldorf, Germany in September 2023. Nigerian Minister of Defense Alhaji Muhammad Abubakar Badaru also attended the competition in Germany and has expressed interest in hosting the Games in the future. Prince Harry and Meghan spent time with the Nigerian team at the tournament in Düsseldorf, and the Duke of Sussex revealed in his speech at the opening ceremony in Germany that his wife was rooting for the squad after discovering that she has Nigerian heritage, a revelation made on her Archetypes podcast in 2022. Now, I'm not saying we play favorites in our home, but since my wife discovered she's of Nigerian descent, it's likely to get a little bit more competitive this year, he joked. On the topic of friendly allegiances and light-hearted rivalries, Prince Harry previously told POPLE that there was no picking sides for him between the UK and US teams following his California move. I feel like I have a special bond with all the teams and I'm very much a supporter of the sport, as opposed to the winning. So there's no picking sides for me, he told POPLE in 2022.